Hey, start again. Hello, welcome to Drawing Dojo with Sandez Ray and me, Jay Scott Naylor. Sandez Ray is busy studying for a special project right now, so I'm just going to take over and we're going to get right back into what we were doing last time on the show, is dealing with the human head. But before we do that, I thought it might be fun to draw something that has a little less structure, just very quickly, draw some smoke, because drawing smoke is fun. Okay, so let's say, for example, that we have a cigarette. A cigarette is a tube, and it's got, I already messed it up. A cigarette is a tube, and it's got a filter on it, and it's lit, and it's got a ring of ash here, and it's burning. And we're going to do what Ditko used to do. Steve Ditko, the Spider-Man artist, used to do this. He used to put like a balloon around the cigarette. It doesn't actually do that, but it kind of looks like it should, right? And then when we do the smoke, the secret is to keep changing direction and to not be afraid to have pieces of it breaking off and going in different ways. It can have holes in the middle. It's better not to do a circle hole. It's better to do like two holes connected. But it can have holes in the middle, it can go in different directions. Smoke, what makes smoke fun is that smoke can do almost anything that you want it to do. And smoke always goes in places that you don't expect it to go. Now this right here is two-dimensional smoke right now. But to make it more three-dimensional, what we do is we draw lines through from one side to the other like this. And that makes it twist. See, the smoke is twisting. See how it seems to twist where it comes together? Let's put some more three-dimensionality in there and make a more complex form out of it, to where things like that. This line is actually wrong that I just did, but you get the idea with the smoke. Now, some people might object to this.
Freeze! It's the PC police!
The PC police? I didn't expect you. All I'm doing is drawing a cigarette. I'm not smoking it, please. What's with the finger?
It's a gun! I'm not pointing at you because I haven't given you a trigger warning, and I don't want you to feel threatened, so it has to be pointed at the air.
Okay, you can point your finger at me if you want. I know it's not really a gun, and you're really in the PC police. I can see your badge. Here, just a second. I'm going to unload it. There we go. Now it's harmless. What's your problem with this?
Well, drawing a cigarette is the same as endorsing it.
Well, no, I understand that artistic concepts are difficult for the PC mind, but drawing something is not the same as endorsing it. Let me put it this way, if I'm upset about racism, should I draw a picture to express the fact that I don't like racism? Would you say yes? But if I draw a picture of people doing racist things, aren't I endorsing racism by your theory? In fact, by your theory, if I drew Jesus Christ on the cross, wouldn't that not be a Christian message, but be a message like pro-capital punishment? That doesn't even make any sense. Your argument's ridiculous. An artist needs to be able to depict things, good things, bad things, evil things that are really out there in the world. Because that's the job of an artist, to draw things that are really there and things that aren't there, like my cigarette. It's just an imaginary cigarette. It's not giving anybody cancer. So we're not going to worry about those kind of PC things on this show.
Okay then. Till next time.
Slink away. You got to watch out for the PC police. Let's get right back in to the human head. We were talking about the Caucasian male head, and you know what? I'm going to call white people, and black people, black people. If somebody wants to call me a racist after all these years, have at it. You're just going to look pretty silly. But we're going to get right back into it with the human head. We drew the white man last time, so this time let's do a woman, and we'll do an Asian woman. Okay. Doing white and black differences, it requires more time than I want to give to it today. So let's go, we're going more for male-female differences with this. So, and I'm going to try and leave more room here so I can put more hair in. So we can do a little bit more of the hair, because I gave short shift to the hair last time. So let's start with a basic egg shape here. sort of like that. That's your basic head shape. Now, remember, eyes, halfway down the head. It's actually, it doesn't seem like they are, but if you measure it, it actually is right about half. So measure it for yourself. So let's put the double line in for the eyes. It's right about there. And the nose, how long is the nose? Well, if you remember I told you that there's an eye's distance between the eyes. So it's like 1, 2, 3 eyes. There's an eye's distance between the eyes. If you measure the nose, it's just about the same on a lot of people, maybe a little shorter than the distance of 2 eyes. But there's an infinite variety in noses, infinite variety in human features, so you can't go by that as a solid rule. But let's just mark a line for the nose and mark a couple lines down here for the mouth. Okay, Asian female. So when I draw faces, you can start wherever you want. I like to start with the eyes, because if the eyes are messed up, your whole face is going to look bad. So let's box off a couple eyes. Again, we're doing sort of a 3/4 thing. I made that line a little big. Let's box off the eyes here, getting ahead of myself. Try it like this. And like I said last week, we're not going to do a lot of retakes on this show. I'd rather you see me struggle with things than you and be impressed with my pretty drawings, because you learn from my struggles. Okay, so here we have some general locations for the eyes. You remember the standard eye is one line up, one line like that. We cheat it down a little bit right here. You come in like that right there, more or less straight across, cheat it up, make the nub, put the eye there. This is your standard eye. It's got a line there. Standard Caucasian eye, I should say. Now, to make that into an Asian eye, we're going to take the axis, as we discussed before. The axis is the line from the high-low, from the high point to the low point. Instead of running it like this with the white person eye, we're going to either run it more up and down, or we're going to run it all the way to the exotic eye. Now, there's infinite variety, and there are even Asians that have this type of eye. So none is actually correct. But if you want an eye that really looks like an Asian eye, you're going to go for, one of these two axes, either the up and down or the exotic. Okay, so let's say we're going to go for the up and down. The up and down is higher in the middle. There's the middle. We cheat it down, we curve, we go up in the middle, cheat it down, come back this way, down like that, make the nub, make the eye. Now, if we're going to do the exotic eye, then that means the high point has to be here. Okay, so again, we start with that line. High point goes all the way up to there, high point down there, and then we start there. So these are your different types of eyes. So what did I say we're making? We're making Asian female. So let's do something that's a little in between these two. Get these lines out of the way. You know they're there. Those are guidelines. Try to get that high point right on top there. You can come over and work on both eyes. You don't have to do one eye at a time. If you want to do one eye at a time, you certainly can. And we're going to come in here like this. And we're going to put some nice, don't make your pupils too small. Remember that usually with an eye, here's an eye, you're not going to see the whole pupil inside there unless the person's scared. You're only going to usually see part of it. Part of it's going to be cut off, so bear that in mind. Okay, so now we have a nice little beginning here. Now, we're going to add some lashes, thicken up the top, and flick a couple out. Make nice big cartoony lashes, fake eyelash lashes. You might want to thicken up the bottom and flick like one, maybe in the other direction if you want really big lashes. Again, this is already thick enough because it's a dry erase marker. Flick, flick, flick. If I was doing this at my drawing board, I would be turning this drawing. And when you're drawing, you should be turning your drawing and changing your position. I can't do that here. But don't be afraid to turn and change. Whatever feels comfortable. Okay, so here we have some eyes. Now I can already see these eyes are too big for the bottom of this head. This head is going to be more down here. So let's do the nose. Now you remember the nose is basically this shape. It's like a diamond that's longer on one side and shorter and fatter on the other side. So if we find our center line here, in your underlying sketch you can find the center line, mark where you think your nose is going to be, and then from there, let's make it lower. From there we can start with a diamond shape. Okay? Now you got your underlying diamond shape, let's say. Now I'm going to just show you what to do with this. Let's take this side of the diamond and curve it in. Make one line there. Okay? And get rid of these sketch lines so it's clear. Get this line, it's like an L that tipped over and is falling down the stairs. Get that line there, that is your key line for that whole nose. If you put nothing else in but this, people would recognize that there's a nose there. If I come over here and just add that, you recognize it as a nose. I can build it up one tiny step at a time. Here's the other side. Now when I have this up here, I can show the other side of that. And then I can show this down here, like that. Or, if you want this person to be really cute, you might want to just show as little as possible. Just come in here with some sort of small, and one line here. Perhaps we bulge it out a little on that side, just to show a shadow where the other nostril is. And we might want to put one up there, we might not. We might want to connect this, the line down there. Always remember that the nose is not flat across the bottom. This part comes down below, and you can feel it on your own nose. That there's a part down that comes down below. See how the sides of the nostrils are higher than the middle part. So let's always remember that. Now, let's give her some nice feminine looking lips here. Come down below this, and we're going to start. That might be a little high. You have a guideline in here showing where your mouth is, or two guidelines showing the top and bottom of it. So you stick with those if they look right, if they don't, change them. I'm going to start with the little V here. We're going to swoop it down a little on both sides. This is slightly turned, so we're a little shorter. Everything on this side is going to be a little bit shorter than everything on the other side. Not as short as I'm making it here, but a little bit. Here's our basic mouth shape here. It's not much of a smile, but let's say she's not smiling. When you come down for the lip, come down and curve. Curve first, and then go up, and then come back down and curve up the other side. Because this is what lips do. If you frown, it's really obvious that they do this. There's two muscles inside the lip, over here and over there, and this is a little off center. But that's why lips don't go straight across. And you can make it more straight across if it looks better, but understand that there's a curve in there that you might want to use. And that's not much of a mouth. So try again. You fail, you try again. That's what you do. So why don't we just come up here with another U above there. I made a little bit too much into I made it too much into this, which we don't want to do. And again, down, it goes down, and it goes across or even up at the middle. Okay, good enough for a starting point. Now, this girl's forehead, there's 5 big bones in the head. There's one that's on top, it's almost like a beanie. There's a bone plate that comes through here. There's another one here, another one on either side, and there's one on the back, I believe. So we can draw the outside curve of the forehead, but be aware that there's also a curve here, okay? And if the person is facing dead on, the curve goes this way, of course. But this is not where the curve belongs. That's in the wrong position. So we're going to put our brow ridge in here to build instead of using that, you're going to use the egg shape, but because I'm trying to demonstrate and keep this clear, we're going to build up the face from the head from the face. So put your brow ridge in, mark where that is, come down, come around with the cheekbone, has to point generally towards the mouth, and then you're going to have a chin, obviously. You can show on the underside of the lip that it curves. Let's give her a nice round chin. Now this line here, depending on how much the head is tilted that way, if it's tilted more that way, then this line is going to go in, like that. But we aren't quite tilted that far. So we're going to have our cheekbones, but then we're still going to come basically out. Those lines are unclear. So let's show the cheekbone coming down. Even worse. What was my policy about not doing retakes? Okay, here we go. And that's why art takes time, because you're never happy with it. Anyways, you get the idea. And we're going to come, she's turning a little stout. I'm going to come back here with the chin. Do the eyebrows. Remember what I said about the eyebrows is that there's a change in direction in the eyebrows. You start going one way and then you change. Okay, it doesn't matter if it has a big arch or a little arch. Even an eyebrow that seems really flat, that's in a real neutral position, still has a change of direction in it somewhere. So always change your direction when you're drawing an eyebrow. So I got a little arrow there. That doesn't need to be there. So let's give her some nice swoop eyebrows. We'll put an eyebrow in here. We'll start this direction and we'll change. See that? Okay. So those aren't even, but you get the idea. And let's see what kind of hair we can have. Remember what we said about the head, is that the ears are further back than you think. So if we visualize the rest of the head and sort of draw a line here for the halfway point, for the side point, the ears are further back than you think they are. So remember that your ears go between your eyes and your mouth, generally. Again, infinite variations, so it's not going to be the same on every person. But an ear, remember, is a C shape, backwards, well, not backwards, that's forwards. A C shape, then put something on the bottom. Now, the easy way to do an ear is to remember that there's a nub here in the middle. There's infinite variety of them, so there's no right or wrong, but you put the nub there, and then you show the other side of it. Then you come up, do the top, come down, other direction. Once you have that, once you've got that, the earring, then you can do almost anything you want with here as long as you keep it simple. So let's just put a little shadow there, and maybe we'll change this up a little. Put maybe a little something like that or something. You know, it could be anything. But we're not going to show a lot of the ear because now we're going to do some real hair. And let's make it something more complicated. Like, when we do hair, we're going to do the shape of the hair. Okay? So I'm going to do some bangs here. I'm going to give her a headband. I'm going to do some bangs. So I want the shape of the bangs to be, I'm going to draw a shape. I'm not going to draw it all in here because it's going to get too messy. And then we've got the rest of the hair piled up behind it. We're going to give her sort of a fake little sideburn here, like an old Shaw Brothers Kung Fu movie. And we're going to give us an outline on the hair. Doing the neck, start back here, behind the ear. Boom. There. Okay. Don't come all the way out to here. It's less than that. From back here under the jaw, there's a line. You can feel it. Runs back there. Now, if you want to show shadow underneath the chin, that's just like this. You can just swoop it underneath there. But if you don't want to show shadow, you can just show the lines here that connect it. These lines, well, when we do anatomy, we'll talk to what all these lines connect to, but just understand that there's a line coming in from both of these, from behind the jaw there, and that your shoulders are going to actually start, down here. So let's get the shape of the hair in here, and we'll start dividing it up. Okay, and we're going to have hair on both sides. Now, when we start doing hair, we have to divide it. People say, how do you draw good hair? I say you work on it and you spend time on it. People get frustrated, they don't divide it, and they don't work on it. And then they wonder why their hair doesn't look right. Let me grab another color marker. There. Make the hair red so we can see it, what I'm doing better. So if we're going to divide the hair up, let's have some flat spots and some pointy spots. Pointy, pointy, flat, flat, semi-flat, pointy. Mix it up, okay? And remember that we're going to turn these. They're not going to all be like this. No, that's for a pipeline going into the distance. They have to turn, they have to go different directions, they have to go from side